Hey guys, this is Fran. How are we doing? Be very welcome again to MetalFran on a new video in which today, as promised, we are gonna continue with the Linkin Park week here on the channel. And we are going to do by reopening one of my favorite sections, Ranked Discographies, in which today, of course, we will be speaking about Linkin Park discography. As you will maybe know if you watched the last videos about Metallica and Avenged Sevenfold discographies, we will be reviewing and covering album by album since the iconic Hybrid Theory until the brand new release from Zero. We will be commenting some facts and topics about the albums, and also at the very end of the video I will create a tier list of each album where I will be placing my favorite and my less favorite albums probably in the very bottom. I hope you like the idea and you give a nice like to the video if you enjoy it, and please be very welcome again to MetalFran. Let's go. Well guys, I think it's time to start this review with no other album than Hybrid Theory, which exploded onto the scene on October 24 of 2000, already 24 years ago, and forever altering the landscape of new metal music. With a really exciting fusion of rap, metal and other electronic elements, it featured iconic tracks like In the End, Crawling, One Step Closer, Paper Cut, Forgotten. There's so many hits on this album. The record was able to capture the frustration of a generation resonating deeply with young audiences worldwide. Hybrid Theory was certified diamond in the US and sold over 27 million copies globally, making the best-selling debut album of the 21st century. They won the Grammy for Crawling in the Best Hard Rock Performance category, solidifying Linkin Park arrival as one of the most powerful in modern music. Meteora was released on March 25 of 2003 and was built on the foundation of its predecessor while refining its sonic identity. Tracks like Numb, Somewhere I Belong and Breaking the Habit showcase a more polished production and emotionally charged lyrics appealing to fans of both rock, metal and some kind of mainstream pop. Selling over 16 million copies worldwide, the album debuted at #1 in multiple countries including the US and the UK. Further cemented the band's reputation as cultural juggernaut with its music videos dominating MTV and shaping the early 2000 alternative rock aesthetic and generations. 4 years later, on May 14 of 2007, Linkin Park returned with Minutes to Midnight, a significant departure from their nu metal roots. Co-produced by Rick Rubin, the album leaned into alternative rock and softer ballads, sparking mixed reactions from longtime fans. Singles like What I've Done, Bleed It Out and Shadow of the Day reflected a broader sonic palette, emphasizing melodies over aggressive riffs. Despite initial skepticism, the album was a commercial triumph, selling over 7 million copies globally and debuting at #1 in 16 countries. It showcased a band unafraid to evolve and address political and personal topics. Released on September 14 of 2010, 1000 Suns marked Linkin Park's most experimental project, a concept album exploring themes of nuclear war, human connection and existential dread. It featured some tracks like The Catalyst and Waiting for the End. The ambitious blend of electronic production and haunting interludes divided critics but won some admiration for its bold artistic vision. While it didn't replicate the massive sales of their earlier albums, 1000 Suns proved Linkin Park's dedication to innovation, solidifying their reputation as boundary-pushing artist. Living Things was released on June 26 of 2012 and found Linkin Park combining the electronic experimentation of 1000 Suns with the more accessible hooks of their earlier work. Songs like Burn It Down and Castle of Glass, both brilliant, brought a sense of energy and introspection appealing to both old and new fans. The album debuted at number 1 in over 20 countries and was praised for its balance of innovation and familiarity. While not as groundbreaking as their earlier releases, Living Things reaffirmed the band's ability to stay relevant in a very constant changing music landscape. The Hunting Party was released on June 13 of 2014 and saw Linkin Park return to their heavier roots with raw guitars and aggressive production. The album was a direct response to the softer trends in contemporary rock as exemplified by tracks Guilty All the Same featuring Rakim and Wastelands. Critics praised the band's energy, though the album's more traditional approach divided some of the fans. While it didn't achieve the commercial success of earlier records, The Hunting Party showcased Linkin Park's commitment to reclaiming the visceral power of some metal music. One More Light, released on May 19 of 2017, was the most personal and vulnerable album. Focused on themes of loss, mental health, and hope, tracks like Heavy, Battle Symphony, and the title track reflected a softer pop-oriented sound. The shift alienated some fans but connected deeply with others, especially in the aftermath of Chester Bennington's tragic death just 2 months after its release. Although divisive, the album's emotional depth and honest exploration of pain resonated, leaving a final chapter in the band's storied career until now, with the appearing on this November 18 of From Zero, the new album of Linkin Park, marking this new era with Emily Armstrong as a singer, and we have a new opportunity on this album to start a new path of Linkin Park discography. And I think we, as I mentioned on my previous video, we need to give some time for From Zero and for Linkin Park new style to get around, to make some new fans, to get some time to analyze properly. But for now, this is Linkin Park album by album analysis. Well guys, we are here now in our favorite part, at least my favorite part of the video, where I show to you this lovely tier list that I prepare with all my love, and where I receive all your lovely comments saying that I don't have any idea, your album is going to the top, my album is going to the bottom, the opposite, blah blah blah. So please, I really enjoy this. Don't take this as a critic, because I really love to make a debate on this. I really like tier lists. So again, tell me and let me know in comments your preferences, but these are mine. So I'm gonna try to explain and make some points around here, okay? First of all, let me tell you how I divided the categories. As always, in the very top, Olympus. After that, amazing. We can continue with good effort, you can forget this, and at the very bottom, chaos and pain. And I'm gonna start this time for chaos and pain because honestly I didn't have any doubt to place 1,000 Suns and One More Light on this tier. For me, these two albums, I'm gonna try to be as much as polite as I can. These two albums, in my opinion, if they are not a shit, are something very hard to distinguish. So sorry for my language, but it's how I feel. These two albums, I know what I said before. I know that they were trying to make some experiments, some innovation, that didn't work. There are two albums totally unsuccessful, not in the selling side of the story, but in the truly Linkin Park vibe and style. They, in my opinion, they don't represent Linkin Park at all. If you ask any Linkin Park fan, and I would say any, no one would say, hey, my favorite album, is One More Light, or my favorite Linkin Park album is 1,000 Suns. Guys, I think no one would say that ever. And after that, I don't think there's any much else to say. You cannot rescue almost any song from these albums. From One More Light, definitely any song. I just remember listening this album for the very first time and thinking, come on, what they just have done. This album is terrible. It's like a kind of very soft and bad pop. I don't expect anyone for real to like this. So yeah, for me, it was just showing the decadence of Linkin Park, and I was really sorry about that because the previous album, The Hunting Party, is one of my favorites, so I was not expecting this at all. From A Thousand Suns is more of the same. After Minutes to Midnight, I understand it's complicated, it's hard to make a new good album, but come on, A Thousand Suns is just a failure. I remember listening that amount of interludes, that amount of songs with no sense. I could just rescue Iridescent maybe, which is a nice song, but also not the song you are expecting from Linkin Park, but okay, we can rescue that. The Catalyst, okay, maybe has some things there, but above all, this is a fail, an album that in my opinion doesn't represent at all Linkin Park. In You Can Forget this category, I didn't place any of the albums because I really think any should be in there. The next tier is Good Effort, which I place Living Things and From Zero, and yeah, to be very honest with you, I don't think these two albums would be fitting in You Can Forget This, because at least we can observe and we can check some really good intentions here and really good songs. So when I place some albums in Good Effort, it's because I appreciate the effort and some songs that I consider very good. In Living Things, we have Castle of Glass, which is absolutely an amazing song. Lost in the Echo. I mean, you have some songs that are really interesting and I even enjoy today. So of course it's not the greatest Linkin Park album, but I think Good Effort is a really, really fair position for Living Things. And the same for From Zero. We already mentioned a lot in this video and mostly in the other video that I recorded, especially making a review from Zero. I think Good Effort is the correct place. We have half album that is very good, very cool, some really nice and refreshing hits, and the other half is just, well, not bad, but also not great. So I think we can place very fairly From Zero here in Good Effort. Moving now to Amazing, I was doubting a bit with Minutes to Midnight in between Olympus and Amazing, but if I'm fair and if I'm putting this album by my real feelings, I think Amazing is the place for Minutes to Midnight. Of course, it's iconic. I really like the logo. It's my favorite logo of the band for this album. I really like some songs. Bleed Out is just a really nice song. And of course, my favorite, Given Up, which is one of the heaviest Linkin Park songs. But in my opinion, with Minutes to Midnight, they started a path, a softer path, pop vibe sounding path that we cannot compare with the two masterpieces that are Hybrid Theory and Meteora. And just for that, I place Minutes to Midnight in Amazing. The Hunting Party, it was, as I was mentioning before, a great surprise to me. They released after A Thousand Sounds and Living Things. My feeling at that moment was that Linkin Park, it was going forward to an electronic vibe, but with The Hunting Party, they came back to metal, and we find here a bunch of really metal songs that I really, really like. The first 5 songs are very cool. Wastelands, Until It's Gone, Rebellion with Daron Malakian, Final Masquerade even. So there are some really nice songs here in The Hunting Party. I absolutely above everything like that comeback to metal that I think we really, really miss from Linkin Park. And in Olympus, of course, there's nothing much to say. Hybrid Theory, Meteora, 2 albums that are 2 masterpieces, full of hits that we all love and remember until today. What can I say? They are the best Linkin Park albums, no doubts. You can choose between any of them and that would be 100% fair. If you prefer Hybrid Theory, which is my case, because it sounds a bit more heavy than Meteora, that's fine. If you prefer Meteora because it sounds a bit more rap maybe than Hybrid Theory, that's fine as well. I think these 2 albums are the pure Linkin Park soul. They represent what Linkin Park could have achieved if they continue in that way. But even though I think these 2 albums represent again the truly soul of Linkin Park, and they are absolutely amazing, and you should have it or you should listen if you didn't, because I am completely sure that you are not gonna regret at all. Again, my friends, what do you think? Let me know in comments if you agree with my tier list, if you disagree with my tier list. Please just let me know, and let me know as well which are your favorite albums and any comment you want to make on this. Well guys, as a conclusion for this video, I just would like to reinforce a couple of points that I already explained during the video, but first of all and mainly, please Let me know your opinion in comments. Let me know which are your favorite albums, which albums you don't like at all. I am very curious to know because, as I was saying, I think Linkin Park has already a pretty complete discography where you can find some very cool hits, some albums that are not what you were expecting about Linkin Park, but hey, everyone has their own opinion, so please let me know yours. And as I was saying, I just wanted to mention again that in my opinion, Linkin Park has already a pretty solid discography. It's true there are two albums, especially in my opinion, two albums that are terrible. We already spoke about them, so I am not gonna enter in that loop again. But I think Linkin Park discography is probably very solid. If I would need to rank out of 10, I could rank easily 7.5, I would say, because especially the first three albums, I think they were quite amazing. Especially if I need to be more accurate, the first two albums I think are undeniable, two really good albums that any fan of metal and rock can enjoy. I can't imagine a fan of metal saying, hey, I don't like Hybrid Theory, because probably maybe it's not your favorite genre inside metal, but it's a nice album, and at that moment it was a pretty surprising album as well. They gather many new public that also after that went to other metal bands and discover other metal genres. So I think that's quite important, and it's something that I really appreciate on Linkin Park. So just for that, just for be one of the bands that gather and develop the taste for metal for many peoples, which I can include myself very easily, that's something very important, don't you think? So again, ups and downs like in any other discography, but at the very end, a discography that everyone can still enjoy. And at least in my opinion, I never or almost never get tired of listening one of the best Linkin Park hits and songs, and I think that will be like that forever. Well guys, I really hope you enjoy this video and the previous video about From Zero new album. Yeah, just give some likes to this video and the other if you want. I will be really grateful, and please take care until our next video. See you soon.